What's up everyone? John Renji from Techno Buffalo here, and I want to share my first impressions of the latest Samsung device. This is the curvy Galaxy Note Edge. Let's get started. Whenever we do our reviews, I like to use the device for at least 5+ days to get a chance to really use it, because my first impressions sometimes don't always carry through what ends up being the final result on the device. But I can usually get a good sense of how I feel about a phone within the first 24 to 48 hours. So you might have just seen the unboxing of this guy just go up. We've actually had it for 2 days. In all honesty, I have no idea what I think about it. I'm all over the board on it. So we'll get into a ton more depth in the review, but I do want to share my first impressions if you guys are deciding whether or not to run to the store to pick one of these guys up. So first, the design, and this is sort of a very new thing for Samsung, I think starting with the Galaxy Alpha and the Galaxy Note 4. I really like the design. Samsung has taken the way their phones feel from sort of almost a cheap plastic to a really premium feel, and that definitely carries through here with the Note line. I love the way the Edge feels, at least the left side in the hand. I like the way this sort of metal looks dark. It just looks really cool. The left-hand side feels like any other phone. The right-hand side, though, where that edge screen is, feels very strange in the hand. It almost feels sharp hitting your side, and by the sort of the very way of how your hand sits, your palm is inevitably going to touch that screen all the time. So you have to sort of be very careful with how you hold it, or even hold it in the opposite hand that you're used to. You're gonna accidentally touch that screen. That said, though, I really liked the way the phone looked. It's very unique. Most phones out there now look the same, some version of a rectangle. This one's something totally different. Whether you like it or don't like it, I do love and appreciate that Samsung's trying something new here, and I give them credit. In order for us to sort of move to something new in the smartphone world, someone has to be the first to try something new and take a risk, whether it works or doesn't work. And I give Samsung credit. I'd be willing to wager we're going to see versions of this curved screen, maybe on one side, two sides, or different sort of iterations of it over the next few years in the rest of Samsung's flagships. So how does the curve work, and does it add anything? That's really my big question, was what does it add versus the Note 4? It's almost the same spec for spec, save for that little extra tiny screen there. I'm not sure what it adds yet, other than just a cool factor. A few things. First, it's not really responsive. So to interact with it, you can sort of keep swiping from the right to the left, sort of access the new kind of ribbons they've called it. And it's fine. It's the same thing as having icons down below as having them on the side. Nothing really new there. I like being able to have social media show up there. Sports scores are nice. I don't know if it's going to sell a phone for me having that. At least that's my first impression of it. Perhaps that will change. Sort of oddly enough, though, they don't always behave like two separate screens. If I went ahead and let's say I wanted to open a website, for example. Let's go to technobuffalo.com. And you can see the screen there sort of shows up on the side. If I swipe in, it overlaps and comes on the top of the screen. They're not totally separate. So you can see some of the words there are being covered by that side ribbon. You can swipe it away and it goes away. But just know that it's not totally its own sort of piece of real estate. They do overlap a little bit, so kind of bear that in mind. It does add some cool kind of new features too. When you go to the camera, for example, the whole screen is now a viewfinder, kind of similar to a tablet, and you get all your camera controls on that side screen. It's neat, it's a nice addition. I don't know how much it adds or not, but it is there, and you go into settings and everything, and they can sort of start to see how the side screen can interact with the main screen. So, you know, it's sort of how I feel about this device. I'm not sure if it's a nice addition or a bad addition, but I'm really glad that it exists, and I like what Samsung is doing here. The Quad HD screen here is absolutely gorgeous. I think Samsung has always made some of the best screens going, and that's true here too. The Note 4 screen is absolutely gorgeous. This one is no exception. The blacks look really black. It's AMOLED. The colors are bright. Things pop. It looks really nice. But like I've sort of found all Quad HD screens, it doesn't look leaps and bounds better than a 1080p screen. It looks like a really good 1080p screen unless you're looking at a Quad HD image, something that has a lot of pixels, and you'll sort of see it all fit on one screen. The big difference when you went from, think of your TVs, from standard definition to HD was gigantic. I mean, you could really see it. It is a fraction of that difference from 1080p to QHD, and that's true for TVs from 1080p to 4K. It looks nicer, not a giant amount nicer. But it doesn't really matter because you're really not sacrificing much here. You sort of get the benefit of that. You're also getting really good battery life. I like that quick charge is included here. TouchWiz, I'm not going to talk too much about. If you don't like it, you can always try and change it. If you like, as soon as this review is done though, you know, Google Now Launcher might find its way onto this device. My first impressions on that screen, I like it. Would I buy it over the Note 4? I don't know yet. And that's why I'm really glad we're waiting to do a review, because I'm really not sure what to think of this. It's really a conversation starter. Everywhere I've gone, I've had this phone out. People are like, what the heck is that? So that's kind of fun. Usually the only reason people stop me to ask about my phone was when I had just a gigantic, huge phone, like the Lumia 1520 that was 6 inches, which somehow now is starting to seem like a normal sized phone. So that's been kind of fun to talk to people about it and show them what it is and show what they can do. I think the big difference though is going to be over the next few months. If developers try to take advantage of that extra screen real estate and try to do some cool things with it, then it might be a huge advantage over the Note 4, but I think you're banking on developers at this point. Right now, as is, it's probably not much additional value other than kind of a wow factor. But if you believe developers are really going to try to make use of this, then you might want to consider the Galaxy Note Edge. But one thing I can say, go to a store and try it before you buy it. See if you like it. You might not like the way it feels in your hand, or you might really, really like it, and that cool factor might just do it for you. I'm looking forward to keep testing this and seeing what I think or if my opinions change. Anything you guys want me to see or show on this device for the review, please let me know. This is one of those things that I really don't know yet when I think about it, which is kind of rare for me. So it's also kind of fun and refreshing. So anything else you guys, again, want to see, let me know. Check us out, of course, technobuffalo.com for the latest and greatest tech news. I'm John Rettinger. See you guys next video. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more videos from Techno Buffalo, hit the big subscription button right here. And if you want to see us play games, and I'll admit it, sometimes not so well, check us out at twitch.tv/technobuffalo.